Welcome to the set. When you first saw that, I was
Yeah.
so surprised, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people out here didn't recognize Dr. John Perkins.
Right.
And that was the first thing you said. You were like, yo, you guys met John Perkins?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his and his work and what he does. And I think when I saw the trailer, it just hit me because it's so important that we give young people something to look forward to. And so what Converge is doing and partnering with the Perkins Foundation and all that stuff, I think it is so important that, again, like young people, give them something to look forward to. And this is so important in a world that is so chaotic. What we're doing here at Converge is beautiful for young people. And so it's hope. The biggest thing is it's hope for them. So it's beautiful.
Nah, for sure. And you talk about the young people down in Jackson, resilient, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we brought this up before, that the water situation there made national news after the flooding down there. But you couldn't drink the water when we was there. It was under a full boil alert. When we was there in July, they said don't do anything but shower in the water. Like you had to brush your teeth or everything. You need to have bottled water.
Wow.
So that's something that they've been living with there in Jackson, Mississippi, and that flooding.
In America.
In America. You know what I'm saying? And that flooding just made the situation worse. And, what's interesting is that we've proven time and time again as a country that when things are important to us, I mean, we find a fix for it right away. We can do anything. And then COVID proved that again.
Yeah.
So, when you look at a deteriorating water system there in the largest city in the state of Mississippi, and it's a predominantly black city as well, Jackson, Mississippi, and what they're going through there is like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's the same kind of feeling that people had back when Katrina hit back in New Orleans, and they felt like they were abandoned. And so, but to see how the people came together to rise, one thing about us as people, we will rise. We won't stay down, regardless of what system out there may not be moving fast enough. We will figure out a way to rise. And so I think even seeing all of this has just been so amazing. And I love my people. I love us because we can't stay down. We can't,
Good stuff. So, all right. So we want to talk to you about a few things here today. First thing is today is the new season of the Drive Project podcast, right?
Yes, sir. And it's almost like I'm just so overwhelmed. I'm so full. I am thankful for those that have walked this journey, with me from season 1 to season 5. And, I told Basis something. I said, what's so interesting is that I was actually going to let go of the podcast. Season 5, I was like, maybe it's come to an end. Maybe it's time for me to wrap it up. And then we connected. Now, I first knew of you at the Emmys. We all went to the Emmys, but not thinking anything connecting. And then you had heard an episode and you're like, what you doing with the podcast? And I was like, I'm actually thinking about letting it go. And you're like, no, your voice needs to be heard.
So I think we might actually have a video back there. This is Jay Martin talking to Basa Gordon this morning.
Yes.
How do you feel being at Converge? Because, it kind of came out of nowhere for you, and it ended up, you work perfectly with us, but how does it feel to be a part of Converge Media?
I've said this before. It feels good to be seen.
Yeah.
It feels good to finally be recognized for the work, and it just feels like a big family, and I've said this before, friends will push you to a certain level, but family, they will really be like, look, they'll tell you the honest truth. Sometimes you don't want to hear it, but I feel like it's such a great family to really just push you to that next level. And so it feels good to finally land. I feel like I've been on a flight that's been bumpy.
Ooh.
And I think and it's been much turbulence, but we're here now.
Yeah.
And I feel like the podcast has a home because just to give a little context, I was actually going to let the podcast go.
Why?
Back in June. I felt like, I did 5 seasons of it and I did it all on my own. And I'm so grateful for the launch with it. It opened up several doors, such as what you said, PBS. That came later, after hosting so many different things, and that door opened up. But I was like, maybe it's time to lay it to rest. And then a DM from Big O. Shout out to Big O from Converge.
That is really how he pulls up on people. Like,
he pulled up, was like, what is this? And I told him about it. He says, I listened to an episode, and I'm sitting here with my eyes filled with tears, And I said, I'm actually going to let it go. He says, no, you're not. Let's push it. What do we need to do? And that was like a shot in the arm to never give up. I'm a big person of consistency is key. And so you just got to stick to the process. And I'm very grateful that finally the podcast has a home. So. Woo. There you have it. Yeah. It's been definitely a journey, but I am so grateful to be a part of this family. It means so much to finally, like I said, with Besa, to be seen. You could be in a room full of people and still not be seen. And I feel like finally it's like not so much the fact of like a spotlight, but you just feel like, hey, there's something about you. And I feel like finally that has connected and now the work can be seen in a much different light. And so it feels good to be a part of Converge.
Well, I mean, it feels good to have you here. And, I think that with us is that I think that we have a good eye for talent, and we try to move quickly with the resources that we have,
That's something that's very real, because from the moment we had our conversation to now, I feel like it's been like, catch the train, let's go, we not stopping. And that's one thing about Converge. When we say we doing something, it has to be done. And so that's something that for me, this has probably been the fastest turnaround from the start of what are we going to do to it's being done,
Yeah. I mean, I look at it like this is that, one of the things that we say around here is that we have to do what we can while we can.
Wow.
We have to do what we can while we can. And I always wake up every day thinking like, man, if everything ended today, if it ended today, would I be able to say I did what I could while I could?
Wow.
For as many people as possible.
That's real.
And I think that that's something that we try to live by here at Converge. And when you look through all aspects of all of our programming here and everything else, it's all about opening the doors for other people. For me personally, like I'm all right.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like a lot of people I understand where it's like, even though I'm on air this week, why I wanted to take a step back, because I've always wanted to be in the background. My job, everybody serves a purpose.
Yeah.
And the highest purpose that I can serve is to empower others. That's the highest purpose that I could possibly serve. So now, am I able to serve purpose being on camera? Sure.
Yeah.
But the highest purpose that I can serve is to put others in a position for success.
Right. I think it is also a disservice to when you're called to do something and you don't do it. There are other people on the other side waiting for you to step into what you're called to do. And so whether it be behind the scenes or in front of the camera, whatever it is, whatever you are called to do, I think it is very important, because there are other people waiting to figure out how can they kickstart their dream, or what do they need to do, what's next. And so it's hinged on the aspect of, wait, I saw somebody do something, or they played their part. Now I need to learn how to play my part. So I'm so grateful to all of you here, that do what you do, especially you, man. Like you don't stop. And I have so much respect, because people say about me, Jay's here, Jay, because I'm thinking of, well, who's on the other side that I might meet that I could help, empower them. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's you right. Listen, Jay be waking up to text messages I don't send at 4:30 in the morning.
Right. I'm like, oh, did he? I was like, God, let him get rest.
I'm like, yo, I just had an idea.
Yes.
How about we do this or do that?
Yeah.
I'm always hitting T-Dub up, man.
Yeah.
I'll see something about some art or something bad anywhere. I'll hit T-Dub, be like, oh, man, got a good idea. What about this?
Yes.
What about that? How can we do this and that? I know T-Dub be like, man, this guy.
Right.
But like, I mean, when you move through life with that lens of like, man, how can I uplift and empower others? Then everything you see as an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Clearly, if not for yourself, then for other people.
Right. Right. I fully agree with that.
What can people expect from season 6 of the Drive Project podcast?
One of the biggest things is I'm going back to the original intent, which is I love sitting with people and interviewing people and hearing their stories, whether they've overcome circumstances or challenges, but what is their level of success, personal success. And so I want people to kind of tap into like the conversation that I get to have with people. And at the same time, I'm going to, be more vulnerable. I'm going to open up and share stories about myself as well, too. And so I started that a little bit with season 5, but I think I'm going to dive a little bit deeper, even going to maybe some of the things that I learned in therapy. I want to be very transparent because, I believe the world moves so fast and sometimes we don't know where we can feel safe to kind of open up and share. And so in this season, I want to create a space for people to feel like, you know what, I want to talk to them, or I want to talk to somebody and open up and, I'm going to start that business. I'm going to leave that job and I'm going to go create something, or I'm going to go after that job I've always wanted, and so I feel like in this new season, you're really going to be inspired to do something and to be more open and vulnerable. So people can expect that from me.
No, that's real. Like sometimes we really need programming, man. And some people are fortunate enough in the circles they move in that their friends, their family, their colleagues are the ones that pour into them with that messaging of you can do it and everything else, And then sometimes I remember, man, when I was driving Uber and Lyft, man, in between rides, I'd be sitting there listening to Les Brown. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, man, for months and months and months, and then that programming that is like, and all these words. So even to today, all those things stick with me.
Yes.
But it was that positive reinforcement and and being able to see things differently but constantly hearing a message.
Right.
Because one thing you said for sure is that things go fast, move fast.
Yeah.
But another thing is like, man, there's so much reinforcement of negative things all around us.
True.
And so you have to put yourself in a place, a special place, especially like I said, if you're not surrounded personally in that kind of circle, then you have to be intentional in finding that space. And for me, like I said, it was Les Brown, when I was driving Uber. And it sounds like, right now it's the Drive Project podcast. People can tap in, you know what I'm saying, and kind of find that mental space and well-being and self-enlightenment.
And that was the goal for me. I wanted it to be to where, either you're going for a walk, you're in that commute, no matter where you're going, that you can get a minimum of like 10 minutes of inspiration, almost like a coffee shot, or, you hear an interview that's almost 30 minutes and it just really, we dig into it. I think there's something to be said about getting in the dirt with somebody and not judging them, but allowing them to share where they're at or where they used to be and now how they've overcome. And when you continue to hear stuff like that, you'd be surprised how your inner person begins to open up and you're like, wow, well, maybe I can overcome some things, or maybe those things that I thought I can't, you can do it. So I really hope that with this season, people really feel a sense of like, I can do this, so.
No, that's real. And you can check out the Drive Project podcast by either searching Drive Project Podcast anywhere where you listen, or searching Converge Media Network.
Yeah.
We're on over 200 podcasting platforms. Switching gears here, man. You've been the man about town. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Which is good. You know what I'm saying? You're bringing a lot of flavor to local performance halls.
Yes, sir.
Across the city of Seattle. And the other day, you were over there at the Pacific Northwest Ballet, McCall Hall. I've got a photo montage here. We'll go and put this up, and we'll let you talk about it here real quick. There, we got it up. There it is.
Oh, yes. That's my little girl. Adeline, I love you so much. She loves to dance. She's actually in dance courses and things like that. And she's always wanted to go to the ballet. Well, I surprised her and I said, do you want to go to ballet? And she even got to meet the principal dancer, one of the dancers.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yes,
Jonathan
I mean, it was phenomenal. And she saw him and she said, that's the guy, Daddy, that's the guy. I said, well, go on up, take the picture, girl, do what you got to do. And she's like, okay. And then she was like, I want to interview him. I want to ask him some questions. So we're looking at putting something together, but I think just the elegance and to see her eyes light up, and this is her dream. And so I think it is important that parents, if you have children, create a space for them to see their dreams ahead of them, and they could actually participate in seeing what it looks like to unfold. And so that was her. She even gave her own review. She gave her own review.
We're going to get to that.
Yes.
How old is she?
She is 9.
So, man, check this out. My daughter, Victoria, she was 9 years old when we both went to our first ballet. This was her first ballet as well. Wow. And we were down there in Houston and we saw the Nutcracker. Wow. Right. And she wanted to go to the ballet. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're down there in Houston. So when you say that it was a special moment for you, yeah, I can appreciate that. Yeah, it was so special. And I think just to see also what was amazing for her to see the people come forward and accept their new positions. You know, some of them went from different positions to now becoming principals, such as Jonathan, you know, and the celebration and all of that. And then she watched the show. It was just beautiful to see, like, this is tangible. And to know Jonathan's story, you know, he started when he was young and now look at him today. So I was able to tell her that, no, don't let nobody tell you can't do it. If this is what you want to do, we'll help guide you as you go, but you can actually achieve what's in your heart, you know? So I want to do the best I can with my kids to do something like that. You know, P&B is a real kind of special relationship generally with the whole company, right? But it's especially with their dancers of color. Yeah. Man, they really feel at home over here at Converge. Right. And I can say that even across all the different companies, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's the other theaters that are in town. Yeah. When people come in town, like Converge is now a place to go. Like, I mean, another thing we're talking about ballet, but especially like, so the opera, when the opera comes in, people know, they're like, oh, you got to go to Converge. Right. And, you know, a lot of these artists, ballet dancer, opera singer, actors, actresses, yeah, a lot of times they move all across America and all across the world, and they're never in a space like this right here in Seattle. And Jonathan actually brought up, he says, I'm going to be connecting with Converge. I'm so excited. And his words were, you know, it just feels so good to see representation. Those were his words. And that to me is beautiful. My daughter said that. To see somebody, she was like, they look like me. And that, I was like, look, you're not going to have me cry. She was like, they look like me, Daddy. Yeah. I can do it. I think it's real dope. And if you was to ask me 6 years ago, we'll be doing shows where we got, you know, ballet dancers and opera singers, I'd be like, nah. Right. And so that's like, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So multi-talented, like you, we've got a review here from your daughter of the show. Yes.
Hi, my name is Adeline. I'm at the ballet, and the 2 things I love about the dances, they're all perfect, number 1, and they're all spot on. I wish I could watch them dance all night long. And there's 2 more things I like. When they go whirl, and when they put their legs up gracefully, it's just amazing. But you can come back for more in a little. Remember, my name is Adeline Olivia Martin.
Ooh-wee. You know, she told me I got about 10 years and then I need to take a seat because she's going to take my jobs.
Yeah, bro. I can see that though.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I said, can we do something together, Adeline?
Get it in while you can.
I'm trying to get as much as I can in, but she wants to do something with me. She's already put that out there. She's like, I want to do something with you. So.
Don, believe me, that's that's the magic years.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying, childhood, being a parent and everything. When them kids want to do something with you, man, you got
it means
to
so. My
cherish
boys are like,
moment.
nah, Dad, we playing basketball.
Yeah.
You go and do that little turnaround spin stuff and talking. I said, okay. But my daughter, she has the bug and she loves the camera. She loves to talk and communicate. And so I want to help put that, you know, work with her on that. So I'm gonna try to take her to as many shows as I can and let her see this, and then go ahead and do your review, honey. Let's talk about it. So
all right, big shout out to Pacific Northwest Ballet.
Yes.
To Leah and Gary over
Yes.
there.
Very grateful.
Real quick, you look at that camera there. Tell people how they can keep up with you.
Well, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook if you still use Facebook. I know y'all do stuff, but it's J Martin Jr. And then, of course, you can subscribe through Converge on the podcast, the Drive Project podcast. It is available through Converge, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, Google, you name it. But thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to you joining me on this journey as we tell the stories that people want to hear.
All right, J Martin Jr. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, The Day with Trae continues.
Community, it's been 3 years since we've been able to celebrate in person at our annual Evening of Choice. And this year at Access and Pioneer Square on October 19th at 6 p.m., we will be back together again, celebrating our journey, healing towards justice. This past couple of years have been incredibly difficult for our young people and our community at large. And one thing that has become clear and absolutely true is there's one way forward that brings all of us together, and that's as we heal. And when our young people heal, they're truly able to become who it is they've been purposed to be. So on this evening, you'll hear stories of our young people, hear the evolution of our organization as we emphasize healing in our cause. And together we will celebrate another year of impact and growth as we journey towards justice together. Again, it's at Access and Pioneer Square, 6 p.m. on October 19th, and live streaming will be available through YouTube at I Choose 180.
Basically, fam, believe in giving. Like, we have to be willing to give more, and people seem to always think giving means money, but nah, bro. It's like you can give time, you can give understanding, you can give access, you can give a listening ear and an open heart. You can give and share your God-given gifts and talents, but you just got to give.
All right, good stuff, man. We're getting ready to get out of here. We're gonna head over there to T-Mobile Park in a little bit. Like I said, big day for us. This summer was transformational for Converge.
Yes.
You know, going down south, and then also finding Go, the legacy of Ade Hogue. I mean, we really stretched and tested ourselves this summer, and so you know, I'm thankful.
Yes, I'm thankful. Who would have thought that this would be the summer that I would join, you know, with such a great network. You know, you guys are phenomenal, and I'm so glad to be a part of the family. And I'm excited to see the unfolding. I know there's some big things coming. My mouth is sealed, and I'm excited.
Yeah. Hey, one last thing though. Like, we're officially overtime, so we'll just stay overtime real quick. You said something in the Rewind with Besa this morning about the difference between buried and planted.
Yes.
Maybe you could go.
You know, I talk about at times being consistent in the dark, and sometimes you feel like when it's dark, when you're doing your dream, nobody sees you, and it at times can feel like you've been buried and like what's going to happen. But it's all about perspective. In order for something to come forth, it has to be planted. And so if you look at your dream as it's planted, and now you have to water it by being consistent in what you are doing, what you believe in. And I even said to Besa, I said, you know, the biggest person that needs to believe in what you're doing is you. And then everything around you will be attracted to you. And so you can't wait on others to believe in what you're doing. You have to believe the most. And so when a seed goes into the ground and a farmer plants it, he doesn't go back and dig it. I'm like, where's the stuff? Where's my stuff at? It takes time, just like your dream. And so you have to flip it. You're not buried. You've been planted. Now allow life and experiences to water that dream and watch it unfold through your consistency. And it will be so beautiful. So that's what I said.
All right. J Martin Jr., thanks for joining us today.